Alright, Lady Robinson's Beach. Don't think I've had Flotsam wet for nearly a year, so certainly time. Not a lot of wind out there yet. I think we might get 8 or 10 knots later, which is still not a huge amount, but a bit more than now. A few other boats out there making use of the day, but it looks a bit grey, but it's pretty humid and hot actually, although I have just bush flotsam to the beach, so see if we can get launched, see if I can remember how to rig, and I'll check back. Alright, there she is on the beach. Launch was mostly successful. It wouldn't be an expedition with flotsam unless I broke something, and indeed I broke something. Not on the boat, but on the trailer, so more fixing when I go back. Pretty much every time I come out I have to fix something when I get back. Now, not a lot of breeze happening at the moment. Might have to launch under motor power, but let's get rigged first of all. That'll probably take me a while because I haven't done it for a while, so let's give it a go. Alright, managed to get it rigged. Still pretty flat out there, so launch shouldn't be a problem. Not a whole lot of room for sailing though. We'll get started and see how we go. Not sure what the plan is. Probably head down towards Tower Point, moving into the mouth of the Georges River, and we'll take it from there. Let's get cracking. Wish me luck. A little bit of motoring to start with, because it's pretty flat. It is still nice to be out here though. I think there is a little bit more wind when we get a little bit further. I think we're just in the lee a bit of the shore. I think we're supposed to start off with a westerly or a southwesterly, so that would make sense. So hopefully when I get out a little bit further I'll be able to find some wind and I'll be able to get moving under sailing power, although again it's in these conditions it's not going to be super testing for me. It'd be nice to know that I can remember how to actually sail. We do have a bit of flap in the flag, maybe that's just because of my motor. Let's switch the motor off and give sailing a go. And we're sailing, albeit not too fast. And we're not quite going the direction I want yet, but I needed to get some space from shore in the first instance, try and get out into the breeze, which I'm doing. And then we might try and make a turn and run south. It's nice out here, overcast conditions. Still got plenty of sunscreen on because it can be deceptive, but it's nice not to be getting totally disastrously burned yet. And it's nice to be sailing again. It's been too long. Right, done our first tack. Might be a bit of a stretch to say we're running along the beach. We're walking along the beach. Headed more vaguely the direction we want. Let's adjust that tube a bit. More attention to sailing and less attention to filming. Probably would make me sail a whole lot better. I can't say there's no wind. There's no excuse for not sailing. Good to see the rate flag flying. It's been 40 minutes and I've gotten almost nowhere, but I've actually got a little bit of breeze now, starting to make some headway, which is nice. Unfortunately the breeze is pretty much dead on the nose of where I wanted to go, so it's a pretty slow tack, which is partially why I haven't gone far, because what little breeze there was on the nose. But you can actually see a little bit of wake there. You can hear a little bit of splash under the bows, and with the eye of faith you get the impression that we're actually moving. Alright, done a tack and run down the beach more. And it's actually starting to feel almost a run. I do actually run down this beach. I go down here a few times a week. It's not often I do things along here that's slower than the run I do. But this is probably close to slower, but yeah, definitely making appreciable headway now, which is nice. The breeze has stiffened a little. Wind's dropped again. Not going as quick as I'd like. Remembered that I forgot my downhaul, so I put that on. Hasn't made much difference at all, really. But you know, we're moving. It was good to be try and put the downhaul on while I was sailing. Let me try and get used to my tiller extension, which is not something I use a lot. Obviously not the most challenging conditions today, so probably a good day to be trying a few things. It'd be nice to have slightly more wind so I could know if those things were effective or not, but no plans today, just out. Trying to remember how to sail, really. I think, at least for some part, I have remembered. We are actually sailing. It may be ugly, but it still sounds pretty. To being very calm again. I'm actually still quite close to home. I did motor for a few minutes and then the wind came up just to tease me, and now it's gone back down again. I'm in two minds whether I should just float around and practice some sailing in light air, or if I should motor to a destination, have a swim and hope that the wind picks up to make things a little bit more interesting on the way back. At the moment I'm leaning towards the latter, so I think I'm going to draw a line under it and revert to the ion jib. It's good to give it a good test every now and again anyway, so let's do that. Here we are under the E-prop of the ion jib. Still got the sails up. I don't know that they're causing a lot of obstruction, so I'm still hopeful that I'll be able to sail at some point. So if the wind does pick up, I'll switch the E-prop off and sail again. But it's kind of the only meaningful progress I've made so far today. It is a nice day to be on the water, very nice day to be on the water. But it's also quite nice to have the E-prop, because otherwise I'd be bobbing around, not going very far. So just running along Lady Robinson's Beach at the moment. It's Ramsgate Pavilion just up there. Around there's some very expensive houses, and just around that point is Peter Dependent Reserve and the mouth of the Georges River. So I might just nose up into the mouth of the Georges River. There's a couple of sailing clubs just inside the point. I might go to the nearest one, which I think is I can't remember. One's St George and one's Georges River 16 foot. I think the closest one is the Georges River one, so we'll might pull up on the beach in front of that, have a drink, regroup, and then head back home again. See if the wind picks up for some sailing. There's quite a few people out here fishing. Almost inspires me to do some fishing as well, but every time I've fished out here I've caught nothing, which is a disappointment I don't want to have to face today. So let's just enjoy the ride around the corner. So I thought I chanced on some breeze again, so with my eternal optimism I thought I'd try sailing. Now much more into the mouth of the Georges River, and there does seem to be, I guess it's a southwester coming out of the mouth, which was supposed to be a southwester forecast earlier. So it's supposed to swing around to a southeaster and then a northeaster. But not ideal to get me around to the sailing club, but it's actually got enough to keep me moving, I think. Not as fast as I was going with the E-prop, but I'm sailing again, which is actually what I came out for. So we'll give it a go. Whether maybe I'll end up going to Tower Point, maybe I'll tack back into St George Sailing Club. We'll see. It's nice to have no plans, no pressures. Would be nice to have a little bit more wind. Tide should still be running in, so hopefully, at least for now, will take me up the river. I don't know if it'll turn enough in time to help me out of the river, but if the wind stays in the southwest, then hopefully that will help me out the river. A little bit of breeze. You can see the raid flags flapping. And we are actually making some headway. There's no swell, which is beautiful. We've had a few motorboats go a little bit closer to me than I would have liked, but no major weight issues. And I haven't seen a jet ski, which is Fantastic. A few airplanes, of course, being off the end of the runway. Here we are in the Georges River under e-prop power. Don't break any land speed records with the e-prop, but it's quiet and it gets us there. And you know, at this sort of speed, we've got sort of 8 to 10 hours of run time, and I can get a fair way in 8 to 10 hours. And if I turn the power up, I don't actually end up going a lot faster. I just suck through the battery a bit faster. So happy to just go at this speed. Go in, lob up on the beach over there, have a drink, and then probably turn around and get headed home. I've got the e-prop on. I may actually have a little bit of contribution from the sails as well, so that's good. It's always nice if you're coming to a sailing club to make it at least look like you're sailing, even if you're totally not. So hopefully I won't do anything too embarrassing when I pull up on the beach in front of the sailing club. But knowing me, I really can't exclude that. Could do anything. But there's Peter de Pina Reserve, so that is about 15 minutes bike ride from my house. Now I've been out for over 2 hours to get here by boat, which kind of goes to show that I haven't been going particularly quickly, but you know, I have had about a 3 or 4 knot headwind the whole way, so trying to tack into a 3 or 4 knot headwind is not fast. Even for people who are much better sailors than me in boats that are much better equipped for that, but not out for fast today. It's all about relaxation and watching the world go by, and at this speed the world certainly is going by. Someone else out there over trying to have a sail. They're not going particularly rapidly either. Speedboat headed my way over there. Should be wide enough, I don't need to worry about him. I'm going to just go around this channel marker here and then pull up on the beach. Actually, it might be my first jet ski for the day, which is of course going uncomfortably close because it's jet ski and that's what they do. Yep, first jet ski for the day. Alright, here we are on the beach near the sailing club. What a nice spot. As you can see, still not very much wind. The wind was supposed to build as the day's gone on, but then it's gotten calmer. So I might just have myself a drink, maybe a splash, and then I'll get moving back home again. It's going to be a slow sail back, I think. Potentially a bit more motoring. Alright, well, it's pretty calm. So it's not going to be a fast sail home. Hopefully some of that wind will come on the way. I might get started now, because it's going to take me a while, I think. But you know, it's beautiful being here by the sea. You'd hardly think that this is not suburban Sydney, really. You can see Port of Botany over there, all the cranes and things, so it is pretty urban, but here it looks very green. Obviously you can over there, I think it's called the Elephant's Eye, across to Tower Point, Botany Bay, the other side of those mangrovey bushes. Been to Botany Bay in one of my other videos if you really feel like torturing yourself and want to have a look. Otherwise, the water is actually really refreshing. I am tempted to have a swim, but I might leave that till I get back to my other beach, just so I don't have to wear wet clothes back. But I have had a bit of a paddle and that cooled me down. Let's get cracking. Actually sailing away from the sailing club. Seemed the only honourable thing to do, albeit pretty damn slowly, and not in exactly the direction we want to go, but I was always told rule one of sailing is never point the boat where you want to go. You always need to point it anywhere but where you want it to go. So apparently that's how it's done. Just a quiet little tinkle tinkle, just moving. Try and get clear of the points before I tack again. Let's see how I go running up the beach. The wind has definitely swung around a little bit. It's a bit more southeast now, so it might be turning, but still not particularly strong. This way a bit further before I try and tack and run up into the bay. A few people out here fishing. Again, I'd love to catch something here one day. Haven't got a good track record. I tacked a little earlier than I wanted to because there was a bit of traffic in the channel. And I think we'll clear this point, and then we might get a decent run up the beach without having to tack too much, which would be nice. And the wind's not on the nose, so I'm actually making some headway, which is good. My sail trim's terrible, but that's because I've got one hand on the tiller and one hand on my phone, and I'm kind of sitting on the sheet as opposed to trimming it ideally, but sailing. With a bit of luck, we'll manage to sail all the way home, which would be crack-a-lackin'. And actually, the breeze is probably not a whole lot stronger than what it was before. It's a little bit more consistent, but given that I'm now turning the other way, it's a lot more in my favour. So let's try and avoid that guy in the kayak fishing. Give him a wide berth, and we'll run home. Clearly I spoke too soon. No sooner did I stop that video than I became almost completely becalmed again. We'll persist a little bit longer. Yes, we are making headway. Not a lot more than that. Just enough to maintain steerage. Jellyfish floating past there. That one looks a bit sad. He's seen better days. I'd like to be doing a little bit faster than this. Hopefully I'll get another little puff of wind shortly. Just starting to get a breath of wind now, which is good. You can see up to the city. Some breeze. Fantastic. And what a view. I'm a little bit biased, but I think Sydney's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Now I get to come out here, and though I'm not on Sydney Harbour, I do still get some city views. And I don't have to worry about ferries running me down here. I can just cruise around. And I've still only seen that one jet ski, so it's been blessedly quiet. And this is the fastest sailing I've done all day. It's probably only 3 or 4 knot breeze. Really not very strong at all, but actually have a little pull on the sheet. Lets me know that we've actually got some power in the sail. Get that little tinkle under the bow. The prop's not in the water, so I'm not cheating, and we are generating a wake. Lovely. Since I've been for a sail, so it's nice to finally feel some sailing. Actually need to think a little bit about where my weight is in the boat. So, got enough wind to think about balancing the boat, so that's fantastic. And we're moving. So after having had a calm, frustrating morning, we've now got probably 6 or 8 knots beam reach, which is about as near on perfect as Flotsam could have. Light boat, light conditions. Certainly will weather heavier than this, but good forward momentum without really needing to worry about very much at all. Making good speed. It's almost a bit disappointing actually, because I'm 2/3 the way home already, and about 1/10 the time it took me to get all the way to the other end. So I left myself plenty of time to get back, and I'm not going to need it all. Unfortunately, the best sailing is not going to last that long because it's too rapid. Might be time for a little dip at the other end, and time to go home and get refreshed before I have to do dad duties after school. This is what it's all about. Not too hot, not too sunny, not too much swell because the wind's really only just picked up, so it has no time to build. The swell can definitely build on Botany Bay because it's a pretty open expanse, and it does open out to the ocean that way, but hasn't really had time to build. Perfect conditions. So the conditions you wish you could bottle, make a fortune selling conditions like this. It's what everyone wants when they go sailing. Nice temperature, nice breeze, helping them go where they want to go. No swell. That's where I want to go, back over there. It's my home beach. Nearly there already. And that's where I came from. That's down in the mouth of the Georges River. Safely back on the beach. It's nice to have a successful day on the river. I'll have a bit of a swim before I pack her up and start the walk home. Alright, packed up after a fashion, ready to go home and clean up. Recovery from the beach was not too hard. If I take my time and take everything out of the boat, it's really quite reasonable to push up the hill. I have also got myself in better shape, which makes it easier, but in true Botany Bay style, we've got much stiffer wind in the afternoon, so would have been a bit more exciting out there this afternoon. Not super upset I got back when I did. I got a nice sail on the way home. Probably a bit more wind than I want now, but it's how Botany Bay tends to be. Calm in the morning, wind in the afternoon. Let's get home.